Hello, it is your boy Gomi, and we are here for what should be the most legendary card of all time, what should be the biggest momentous occasion in UFC history. UFC 300 is here, it's upon us. We sat through 4 weeks of awful slop. The last card was fun, I guess, but the quality just was not there. And we are now here for a pay-per-view that is properly stacked. But I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna start this video off, and you guys are gonna hate this. I know a lot of people are not fans of this, but you know what? I'm not gonna be the corporate bootlicker that a lot of these people are. Is UFC 300 the most stacked card on paper? Hell no. No. You're deluding yourself if you think it is, in my opinion. You are just eating up the slop of Dana White saying this is the greatest card of all time. I highly disagree. I think it's better than UFC 200 at least, but I think UFC 100 is better. I like 287, 217, 261, 259. I like all those cards better than this card, to be honest with you. What was it? 196. I'm sorry. I just don't think having 2.5 title fights, I do like the BMF belt and I do like the fight, but just having 2.5 title fights, and you're talking about, oh, it has all these former champions, 11% of UFC total champions. Yeah, you're right. It has most of them coming off a loss or 1 fight win streak. Like, looking at it, yeah, Davison Figueiredo, 1 fight win streak. Cody Garbrandt, 1 fight or 2 fight win streak, right? 2 fights. Okay, but who's he fighting? Who's he coming off a win against? Jessica Andrade, a 1 fight win streak. Holly Holm, she's coming off a loss. Aljamain Sterling coming off a loss. Yuri Prohaska coming off a loss. I just don't think it's the best card of all time. It's a good card. I'm very grateful towards it, but I even like 299 better on paper. But all right, that's it. I said my piece. I'm gonna break down the card. People probably already clicked off the video or are just calling me a dumbass jackass, but I don't care. Let's get into the card. Oh no, that's not it. Let's get into the card and look at the first fight on the card, which this is surprising. This is the first fight. I don't think it should be the first fight. I would put quite a few fights underneath that, but I digress. We have Davison Figueiredo taking on Cody No Love Garbrandt. This is a very intriguing fight overall because Davison Figueiredo, I was skeptical of his move up to bantamweight, but he looked really good. The fact that he was able to do that to Rob Font, hurt him, rock him, maybe even getting close to knocking him out, is a massive feather in his cap. I see his power is translated very well, and he still is an ace in BJJ. We've seen them grappling exchanges he had against good grapplers like Alessandro Pantoja and also Alex Morono. I get they were a smaller weight class. You're going to think, oh, Cody Garbrandt has the weight advantage. Cody Garbrandt has fought at flyweight before. He was knocked out brutally by Kai France. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even a competition. Cody Garbrandt, people think he's on some sort of resurgence or something like that. He looked good his last 2 fights against absolute, I don't want to say it, but do you think Trevin Jones and Kelleher really are of notable wins? And then beyond that was the Kai France fight I mentioned, where he was absolutely starched, annihilated. Looks like he didn't belong there. And Kai France, I feel, is probably the second hardest hitter at flyweight. And hardest hitter, that man right there, Davison Figueiredo. I definitely think Davison Figueiredo is going to chop him up. I think Cody Garbrandt has the better striking skills, but not by a large enough margin to really count for anything. I definitely don't see Figueiredo getting him down to the ground. I think it's going to be a struggle for him to get down Cody Garbrandt down to the ground. I think it's going to be contested standing, and I like Figueiredo's power in this. It's just going to take 2 to 3 solid shots to catch Garbrandt at a chin, take him out. And I see not a lot of people are putting faith in Cody Garbrandt, as you should not. I don't like this spot for Garbrandt, and I'm sorry, I'm not picking Cody Garbrandt to win this fight. I'll be taking Davison Figueiredo to win this fight by, I'm not gonna call like specific rounds, but I think TKO is gonna be very, very likely. Next fight, Bobby Green versus Jim effin Miller. I'll wait till 10 minutes to start saying the F word. But I like this fight, and I like the odds. I'm happy Jim Miller's here. I would have much preferred Jim Miller to go up against a guy like Matt Brown. That would have been fun. But Bobby Green is still a worthy opponent. I think this should be a fun scrap. And I gotta say, y'all got -205 on Bobby Green. I get it. Bobby Green is going to be, I'd say, the better striker. He's very slick on the feet. He's very hard to catch, and he can pick people apart from a distance with his jab and his 1-2 combos. But here's the problem. We've seen Bobby Green get caught twice now. We've seen him get caught twice now within the last, 2 years? Almost 2 years. Brutally knocked out against Drew Dober. Brutally knocked out. And Turner, you ain't showing it. You remember what happened to Jalen Turner? Jim Miller, while he is aged, yes, the one thing that has not gone away, the one thing that has stayed and persisted with Jim Miller is, oh God, the boy hits hard. He still hits hard. He can still crack. He's got that jiu-jitsu's back pocket. Bobby Green, we've seen him. He can be very good at jiu-jitsu exchanges, unless you're Islam Makhachev, who didn't even submit him, knocked him out. I don't see Jim Miller. Jim Miller could absolutely get some ground and pound, but I don't see it going to the ground very often. I think Jim Miller will piece apart Bobby Green with those beautiful kicks. His kicks hit hard. Everyone who's fought him said, wow, that's the hardest anyone's ever kicked me. Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker, for example. I could absolutely see Jim Miller piecing him apart and lighting him up with those kicks, taking away Bobby Green's movement, and I'm going to be going with Jim Miller to get the W, and I think he's going to get a KO. I'm sorry, I think people are placing too much faith in Bobby Green. Far too much faith in Bobby Green, and I've already locked in a bet with Jim Miller at moneyline. I think his best bet is just moneyline. You can be a little bit spicier if you want that KO and the props come out, but I also, I also think that a lot of more love and affection and money is going to be coming on Jim Miller. I don't know why we're picking Bobby Green. Are we going to forget how he was basically murdered by Jalen Turner? Like, God, that was bad. You don't come back from that. That was in August? Is it December? Oh my God. You think 4 months is enough for that bad a knockout? Look at what happened to Alexander Volkanovski. Alright, next fight. This fight sucks. I don't care what anyone says. I get it. You like Jessica Andrade. She can be exciting. Cool. She's not what she used to be. I don't care. Jessica Andrade take on Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez, she's solid. She's got some good power. I like her work in the clinch, and I think she's a very solid fighter. A solid fighter on a 1-fight win streak, by the way. But I think she's very solid. Jessica Andrade, though, her hooks. I've talked about Andrade a lot on this channel. I think, I've done 5 fights already I've covered for Jessica Andrade, and I've been right on all of them except for one, right? Yeah, I was only wrong about the Mackenzie Dern fight. But that was just because Mackenzie Dern had sloppy striking. I definitely think, though, Marina Rodriguez doesn't have the level of striking chops or grappling chops needed to take out Jessica Andrade, like, Tatiana Suarez, Yan Nan, Erin Blanchfield, all people just decimated Jessica Andrade. I'm not excited for this fight because I don't care for Jessica Andrade, honestly. We've seen her ceiling. She's not coming back into contention. Even if she did, we know Zhang Weili is going to that absolutely steamroller. She fights the same, and I feel she shows up for a paycheck. And they said, hey, you want to be on 300? You're the most exciting women's fighter we could find other than Zhang Weili. So they're like, okay. So I don't know. Don't bet this fight. I don't want to say dog or pass. Let's see. It's a pick'em. Wow, you guys put a lot of faith in Marina Rodriguez, considering she got absolutely destroyed by Amanda Lemos, who Jessica Andrade took out. So I don't know. I'm gonna be going with Jessica Andrade. I don't know how this fight will finish, so I'm just gonna be picking Jessica Andrade. Jalen Turner versus Renato Money Moicano. I think this matchup is a good spot for Jalen Turner. Renato Moicano, yes, he did beat Drew Dober. I was on the Drew Dober train, but I'm confident this time Jalen Turner is going to be able to get it done. Jalen Turner's record ended up being a lot more sus He got destroyed by Dan Hooker. Not destroyed, it was actually a very close contest. But yeah, he didn't look the best against Dan Hooker. He seemed to wilt in a lot of exchanges, and Dan Hooker seemed to almost get some submissions on him. But those were opened up by Dan Hooker striking, Dan Hooker hurting him and getting some solid damage on Jalen Turner. Renato Moicano isn't going to be able to do that because Renato Moicano's striking is just piss poor. Drew Dober, he was able to lay and pray, and it was kind of a boring fight, but that was the way he was able to get out on Drew Dober. He's not going to be able to do the same against a massive Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner, he's got to be the biggest lightweight we have, being his size at freaking 6'3". And he has a massive reach advantage. I could see him just piecing apart Renato Moicano at distance and hurting him. Renato Moicano's been hurt plenty of times. He got absolutely annihilated by Rafael dos Anjos, who, man, that fight should have been stopped. That was a massacre. And then he got massacred by Rafael Fiziev. And he's been starched and knocked out before by Chan Sung Jung, TKZ. I think Jalen Turner could knock out Renato Moicano, but something tells me he's going to be a little bit tougher in this scenario. I don't know why, but I'm actually leaning towards decision for Jalen Turner, which is surprising. I don't know. Something in my brain just said you've been picking too many knockouts, and you have to temper your expectations. But I think Jalen Turner is in a good spot here at beat Renato Moicano. Odds-wise, doesn't show it there. Let me look up the odds, but it's got to be Jalen Turner is a good favorite. Yep, minus 245. He's a good favorite. I like him in the spot. I think he'll be able to beat Renato Moicano, but I think he'll go to distance. I just have a feeling about that, but all signs can point to a finish on Jalen Turner's end. Jalen Turner has never been submitted. Yes, there's a time for anything, but he's never been submitted, and he's gone against some decent grapplers like Mateusz Gamrot, Vicente Luque. He's never been finished by those guys. I say Vicente Luque is a decent grappler. He's got defense, offense, jiu-jitsu. And then we go to the prelims. Sodiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopez. Sodiq Yusuff coming off a loss, and Diego Lopez on a nice little win streak. This is a fun fight. A lot of people are like in love with Diego Lopez. I don't know why. Like, Jesus Christ. He had a close fight against Movsar Evloev, and now everyone's like, I love Diego Lopez. I like him. I liked him. I saw him live when he fought against Gavin Tucker, and that was pretty exciting. I think this is a good spot for Diego Lopez, but it's very hard. I don't want to lean heavily towards either guy because Sodiq Yusuff, he's got some power. He cracks. He pops on his shots. Yep, he did have the loss against Edson Barboza, showing his inexperience in a 5-round fight and how he's able to wilt in later rounds. It's a 3-round fight though. In this case, I don't think he's going to be having those same issues he had against Edson Barboza. I think Diego Lopez can be a little too wild in the striking exchanges that Sodiq Yusuff can actually pick him apart and land some really good shots on him. It's a hard 50-50 in this fight. This is a fun fight, and this is one of the more intriguing fights. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, other than the Miller versus Green fight, I really didn't give two damns about the other fights. But I'm greatly interested. Not greatly. No, let's temper that. I'm minorly interested in this fight, and I think it should be a very fun fight overall. It'd be interesting if the submission ability of Diego Lopez is able to get Sodiq Yusuff, who has also never been submitted as well too. But Diego Lopez has been knocked out. He's been knocked out. It's been many years since. But I think if any guys to knock him out, it'd be Sodiq Yusuff. So I'm gonna lean towards Sodiq Yusuff, but not by any way. Maybe decision, but just give me Sodiq Yusuff in the spot. Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. I just simply don't like this fight at all. I don't like this fight at all because there's so many variables that'll make it go, this fight could be really good. It could also be really bad. It could also not even happen. Yes, that's the other thing. This fight could just not happen because Kayla Harrison fights at 155. The one time she fought at 145 was that Invicta, right? Is Invicta. The one time she fought at 145, she looked really good, yeah. But she still never fought at 135. That's what this fight is. So I don't know. Kayla Harrison should win this fight though, because Holly Holm, her skills have regressed. She's been winning fights here and there. I mean, she's on a she lost to Mayra Bueno Silva. Beyond that, she had a win over Yana Santos. Cool. And then she's on a loss against Ketlin Vieira. Like, she's not looked super good, to be perfectly honest, during these fights. She's really, really focused on pushing up against the cage. That really good boxing skills that she had, she doesn't use them as much anymore because she's old. I don't know how to tell it to you. She's extremely old. Kayla Harrison, on the other hand, is a muscle-roided, almost borderline freak of nature. In a good way. That's a good way. She's very effective with her grappling. She's able to knock you out. She's got a ton of power. But I don't think she's as good as a lot of people are making out to be. But you can definitely see they're really looking to make some more stars and get some more people in 135 ever since Amanda Nunes left. But the thing is, Kayla Harrison, she's coming off a win over Aspen Ladd. A decision where she didn't look that good. Beyond that, she lost to Pacheco. If she was beat Pacheco was coming to UFC, I'd be a little more interested in this, but I still don't like the matchup. I don't know if it'll even happen. All signs point to Kayla Harrison winning this fight, though. All signs point to that. I'm pretty sure she's probably going to be a heavy favorite without even looking at the odds. Minus 500. Yep. Kayla Harrison's a lock in the spot. I think it'll be a by decision, though. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling is going to be the first fight I have cards for. Yes, I've done cards and like, I don't know what I call this. I don't know. Tails, tapes, breakdowns. I've done it for every fight except for one fight coming up. You can tell what fight that is. But yes, Calvin Kattar is going to be taking on Aljamain Sterling on the prelims. Wow. This is going to be a featherweight matchup. Calvin Kattar is going to be 36 years of age, 23 wins, 7 losses, 11 knockouts, 2 submissions, 5'11 in terms of height, orthodox stance, 72-inch reach advantage, a 0.42 takedown average, a 41.39% significant strike accuracy, plus 125 underdog. Significance over Giga Chikadze, Danny Ige, and Jeremy Stevens. Aljamain Sterling is going to be 34 years of age, 23 wins, 4 losses, 3 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's going to be 5'7 in terms of height, orthodox stance, 71-inch reach disadvantage, a 1.97 takedown average, a 61.17% significant strike accuracy, minus 150 favorite. Significant wins over Henry Cejudo, TJ Dillashaw, Petr Yan, and Corey Sandhagen. Wow, the odds have actually shifted since I wrote this up. No, never mind. Oh no, they shifted a little bit. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. So yes, I don't like this fight as much as other people do because again, Aljamain Sterling's coming off a knockout loss and Calvin Kattar's coming off a leg break injury loss 2 years ago, which is what just sours this fight for me. Looking at it on paper, ignoring, like, if he wasn't coming off that leg break, I'd heavily lean towards Kattar. I still want to lean towards Kattar, to be honest with you, because Aljamain Sterling, I've never been a fan of his style because his style is just sloppy striking, crashing into your opponent to get takedowns. That's what he does in all of his fights. He tried doing against O'Malley, didn't get a takedown. He did against Petr Yan like 80 times. How many takedowns did Petr Yan defend in that fight? And then he did against TJ Dillashaw. He did against Henry Cejudo. Aljamain Sterling really goes out there and he fights like he's sparring. He really has like a sparring style to him, which I don't think is good when you go up against a finisher like Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar, yeah, he got butchered by Max Holloway years ago, but then we saw him bounce back, absolutely annihilate Giga Chikadze, got firmly robbed by Josh Emmett, blocking a lot of Josh Emmett's strikes, who was just throwing shots, aiming at his arm, and he was blocking that. That was actually a good performance from Calvin Kattar, and Calvin Kattar showed really good striking acumen. Calvin Kattar's striking acumen is amazing, and then let's not forget as well too, Calvin Kattar has a insane 91% takedown defense. 91%. Meanwhile, Aljamain Sterling's takedown accuracy is 24%. He's landed 21 takedowns of 136, and he and Merab still have that same style where they just spam takedowns at you. And he's coming up in weight. Calvin Kattar is going to be the bigger guy. I don't like Aljamain Sterling in the spot. Yeah, he could do what he did against Corey Sandhagen, where he wraps the back real quick and get him like that. But we've never seen Calvin Kattar in that spot to assume that Aljamain Sterling could put him in that spot. And we've seen better from Calvin Kattar in terms of grappling. And the way Calvin Kattar loses fights isn't by grappling. It's by guys being smarter and more effective strikers than him, like a Max Holloway or an Arnold Allen. Regardless of the leg break, Arnold Allen was winning that fight because of smarter striking. Aljamain Sterling's striking is so bad. It is literally borderline awful. I could see Calvin Kattar piecing him up with elbows. Oh my god, if they go into clinches and he manages to break, watch out for those elbows. Those elbows will slice him open. He will turn into a samurai and he'll cut Aljamain Sterling. And Aljamain Sterling, we've seen him get hurt plenty of times before. And he's coming off a knockout loss. Was it a bad knockout? No, it wasn't even a knockout. It was a TKO. I don't see a way. I don't want to say I don't see a way. I do see a way, but I see it's very unlikely that Aljamain Sterling gets the better of Calvin Kattar in the spot, and he's a heavy favorite. He's gone up to -170. Not heavy, but he's a big favorite. He's gone up to -170. I like the dog in here. I like the dog. I'm probably going to be betting on the dog, to be honest with you, but yeah. Give me Calvin Kattar to win it by TKO. And then on to the next fight. I like this fight quite a bit. Jiří Procházka is going to be returning against Alexander Rakic, who's also returning. Jiří coming off a knockout loss. Alexander Rakic coming off a leg break loss 2 years ago. Again, a fight that I'm like, wow, I like this fight, but also I'm soured on it greatly. And this is why I'm not super excited from this card, because yes, you have a great looking cake, but then you peel apart the layer and you see that it's just sloppy dough in there, coming off of knockouts and leg breaks. But I digress. Jiří Procházka is going to be 31 years of age, 29 wins, 4 losses, 25 knockouts, 3 submissions, 6'3" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 80-inch reach advantage, I'm surprised he has a reach advantage over Rakic. A 0.61 takedown average, a 59.43% significant strike accuracy, plus 105 underdog. Yeah, he's the underdog. Wow. He has significant wins over Glover Teixeira, Dominic Reyes, and Volkan Oezdemir. Alexander Rakic is going to be 32 years of age, 14 wins, 3 losses, 9 knockouts, 1 submission, 6'4" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 78-inch reach disadvantage, a 0.82 takedown average, a significant strike accuracy of 64.79%, and he has a -125. He's a -125 favorite with significant wins over Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, Jimmy Manuwa, and Devin Clark. Why is Jiří Procházka an underdog in the spot? I guess people are going to say he's coming off the knockout loss to Alex Pereira. But again, much like Aljamain Sterling, that was a TKO. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think Jiří Procházka could have got up there. I thought it was a pretty early stoppage. But regardless, I love Jiří Procházka in the spot. I really do. Alexander Rakic, yes, he's a talented kickboxer. Cool. And he's got some good grappling he can mix in. Cool. None of that's going to work against Jiří Procházka. The only way you're taking out Jiří Procházka is with the equalizing power of a Alex Pereira. Who has Alexander Rakic knocked out recently? Do you know when his last knockout win was? It was Jimmy Manuwa in 2019. Before that, it was Devin Clark. Oh, wow. He's knocked out Devin Clark. Oh, my God. That's so amazing. He's knocked out... Yeah, that's not amazing. I'm sorry. I don't... yeah, Alexander Rakic, he's got the height advantage, but he's not the bigger guy in there. Jiří Procházka is a very big guy. His striking is unorthodox. He can submit him. He can submit Alexander Rakic. If it really comes down to crazy exchanges, I don't think it will. I think he'll be standing on the feet. But Rakic is really going to have to focus on those leg kicks. Jiří Procházka is susceptible to leg kicks, and I feel that's the only real reason why people are picking Alexander Rakic in the spot. But let's not forget, Alexander Rakic is coming off a 2-year layoff. 2-year layoff due to his injury. I know. I said the same thing. I said I liked Kattar in that spot, and he's coming off a 2-year layoff due to his injury. But the thing is, even without the injury, I would lean towards Kattar. Even without the injury, I lean towards Jiří Procházka. Alexander Rakic has one way of winning this fight, one clear advantage, which is the leg kicks. But he's not going to be kicking well with that busted up leg. I lean towards Yuri in the spot. Yuri's got more power. He's got more creativity with his strikes. I do think, yes, Alexander Rakic is probably the more talented striker, but I think Yuri Prochazka's unorthodox angles and crazy power will be able enough to just light up Alexander Rakic, and Yuri's always going to be there. I know he got knocked out by Alex Pereira, but I still think that was just a poor stoppage by Goddard's part. Yuri Prochazka took up way more of a beating against Dominic Reyes and Glover Teixeira, and he was there till the end. If Jesus Christ, I forgot his name. If Mark Goddard didn't stop that fight against Yuri and Alex Pereira, I think Yuri could have made a comeback. I'm not saying he was going to win, but I think he absolutely had more fight in him. And I don't think Rakic is going to be catching him in that spot. I definitely am going to lean towards Yuri Prochazka, and I'm going to lean towards Yuri Prochazka, get it done by knockout. I think he's going to be able to pick apart Alexander Rakic. I just can't understand where all this love is coming for Rakic. Like, he's still, right now, he's still minus 135 favorite, man. Like, I guess, but, like, here's the thing. I'm Serbian. I know, like, the Serbs are going for him. Cool. I'm going to have to go with Yuri. I also just think he's the more exciting fighter. He's the fighter that more people want to see. And I think he's going to be the one who has the clear advantage in this aspect. So give me Yuri Prochazka by knockout. Next, we're going to get to the main card. That's not the next fight. You're right, it's not the next fight. Because here's the thing. I'm not making a goddamn card for this. Why is this on the main card? Why? Why is this on the main card? I get it. A lot of people like Bo Nickel. They want to hype up Bo Nickel. But Cody Brundage, you know what the odds are for this fight? Do you know what the odds are? It's minus 2,400 to plus 1,200. That's stupid. This is clearly a mismatch. This shouldn't be on the main card. It should open the card. It should open the whole, like, this is so stupid. You're expecting people pay $80 to watch Cody Brundage fight? Bo Nickel, cool. But even Bo Nickel, cool. No, even not Bo Nickel, cool. This is supposed to be the most legendary card of all time, and we really got Bo Nickel hit on the... I'm stopping. All right, cool. Bo Nickel going up against Cody Brundage. I mean, the only allure to this fight is Cody Brundage getting the upset. But the thing is, Cody Brundage is bad. I'm sorry. Cody Brundage is not good. Like, yeah, he's coming off that slam knockout, but that's just because Zachary Reese is bad. He's worse. Jacob Malkoum, he got disqualification. He was getting beat up by Malkoum. Beyond that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak, and one of them was Cedric Dumas. Bo Nickel has a wrestling advantage. I think he has a power advantage. I think he has a striking advantage. I don't think Bo Nickel's striking is all that great. We haven't seen much of it to say it's good or bad. I just think Bo Nickel's the better fighter in every aspect, and this is a stupid fight. Get this out of my face. Give me Bo Nickel by whatever. But like I said, if there's an upset, the only excitement I will get from this fight is, oh god, maybe there's an upset. Cody Brundage wins, but it's not happening. I'm be honest with you, man. I might take a bathroom break for this fight. Just like all I'm gonna be like, oh wow, Bo Nickel got it. I'm sorry, I'm getting too negative on it. I just hate that fight. On to one of the more exciting and more intriguing fights on the card. We have the lightweight matchup between Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan. So, Charles Oliveira is going to be 34 years of age. 34 wins, 9 losses, 10 knockouts, 21 submissions, 5'10 in terms of height, orthodox stance, a 74-inch reach advantage, a 2.32 takedown average, a 61.96% significant strike accuracy. He is a plus 190 underdog. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Significant wins over Beneil Dariush, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Michael Chandler. Oh, I hate seeing that. But Arman Tsarukyan is going to be 27 years of age, a 21 wins and 3 losses, a 9 knockout and 5 submission record. He is 5'7 in terms of height, orthodox stance, 72.5-inch reach disadvantage, a 3.40 takedown average, a significant strike accuracy of 53%. He is a minus 235 favorite. Significance over Beneil Dariush. Hey, hi Beneil. Joaquim Silva, Damir Ismagulov, and Matt Frevola. I'm leaning towards Arman. I know. Armin, this is the debate of the lightweight old new guard versus the new guard. This is the end of the tournament. This is the last of the new guard trying to break through and get to this top 3, which for the past 3 years has consisted of Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, and Islam Makhachev. Only one who penetrated was Islam Makhachev. I'm sorry, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and Charles Oliveira. Only one who penetrated was Islam Makhachev. Arman Tsarukyan did fight against Islam Makhachev short notice on his debut, and it was a decision. He fought very well against Islam. Islam clearly won, but he fought very well against him. And since then, the only loss he's had beyond that has been to Mateusz Gamrot, which was highly contested. I don't think it was a robbery. I think Mateusz won, but it was a highly contested fight. The reasons why I'm not leaning towards Charles Oliveira, and I know there's a high chance we go 3-0 and the old guard completely clears the new guard, but I think Armin might be the one to just penetrate through, because Charles Oliveira has very poor striking defense. It's always there. His striking offense is beautiful. He's got really good Muay Thai, and I was so correct to call that he would knock out Beneil Dariush. But Arman Tsarukyan did it better. He did it better, and he did it way more efficiently. Beneil Dariush was getting the better of Charles in the grappling exchanges, because that's the thing. I've been saying this ever since the Islam Charles fight. I think that's one of the first fights I covered, and I'm gonna keep saying this. Pure wrestling, I think, is the alternative to jiu-jitsu, like Charles Oliveira. We saw this between Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler. We saw this Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira. I think if you have pure wrestling, you can beat Charles Oliveira. Arman Tsarukyan is very offensive with his striking, and he can catch Charles Oliveira, but Charles Oliveira can catch him, because Arman Tsarukyan's striking defense is not anywhere near what Islam Makhachev's is. So he can get caught, and he's been caught a few times before. Silva caught him. That's one thing to mention. But I still think Arman has the skill set. And I just want to talk real quick about Charles Oliveira, and I don't like his drive. I don't think he's hungry. Since losing the belt to Islam Makhachev, the first thing he called for, first he turned down the Islam Makhachev rematch, and first thing he called for is he wants Conor McGregor. He talks about Conor McGregor. Always talks about Conor McGregor. Conor this, Conor that. He always says that. His coach, like fight week, they're talking about him. And I think that's a poor mindset to have. To wanting to fight a guy who hasn't won a fight since 2020 tells me that he wants the money fight. He wants the money fight. I don't think he wants the Islam fight. He got cut and pulled out against Islam. Kind of sus, man. I just don't see the hunger there if Charles Oliveira, and Arman Tsarukyan can be a little bit more diluted at certain times, but at the end of the day, he's a really good fighter. He's very efficient. You can't even call him boring too. He knocks people out. He brutalizes people. I like Arman Tsarukyan in this matchup. I don't like those odds though for him. Please, dear God, this should be a pick'em. I'm not betting though 235 for Arman Tsarukyan. I'm not that confident in him. I could see this fight going kind of like the was it the Christos Galgos fight? I believe it was. Or was it the Yoel Alvarez fight? Yeah, it was the Yoel Alvarez fight where he just took him down, cut him bad once, and then just absolutely bled him. Because Charles Oliveira is coming off a cut on his face. I could see Arman Tsarukyan hitting him with elbow and opening up that scar tissue, and it'll be in the top position. It'll be in a grappling exchange. Tsarukyan will be on the top, and he'll land a cut or elbow or something like that on Oliveira, and I think he could just go with it for the rest of the fight. So give me Arman Tsarukyan. I can't see a Charles Oliveira fight going the distance, so give me by knockout. But not high confidence. Don't bet it. Don't bet it. And on to the people's main event. Yes, I had to find a goddamn picture of Justin Gaethje with the BMF belt. They didn't have that. I don't know why. But Justin Gaethje is going to be taking on Max Holloway for the BMF title belt. I do like this. It's fun. I'm happy. I wanted this to be on 300. This is in my initial prediction video. I predicted this fight for 300. But it shouldn't be the third fight on the card. It should open up the main card. We should have 5-fight title fights, but oh well. This is going to be a very exciting fight between two veterans, two violent veterans, and two favorites of mine. I personally love this fight so much. Justin Gaethje going to be taking on Max Holloway. Justin Gaethje is going to be 35 years of age, 25 wins, 4 losses. He has 20 knockouts, 1 submission. They have 3 submissions amongst the 2 of them. My God. 5'11" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 70-inch reach advantage. He is 0.13 takedown average. Yeah, he does not go for takedowns, my man. He has a 60.64 significant strike accuracy, minus 200 favorite. Significant wins over Dustin Poirier, Rafael Fiziev, Michael Chandler, and Tony Ferguson. Standing across from is going to be Max Holloway. 32 years of age, 25 wins, 7 losses, 11 knockouts, 2 submissions, 5'11" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 69-inch reach disadvantage, a 0.27 takedown average, a 49.25% significant strike accuracy, plus 170 underdog. Significant wins over the Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, and Yair Rodriguez. And also Calvin Kattar. Can't forget Calvin Kattar. I don't know why it's ER, it's AR, but oh well. Oof, this is a violent fight. This is such a good fight. This is my most anticipated fight in the card, but I also hate it because it just screwed up the lightweight title picture because Justin Gaethje should have been fighting Islam Makhachev, but I've complained about this card enough. You can tell that I'm disappointed in this card. I'm not going to keep talking about it because this is such a good fight, and this is the best fight in the card because what I want from this card was very entertaining prospects on good win streaks. Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje are entertaining fighters, high level, top of their division fighters on win streaks. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I'm happy that's what we finally got. I know Max Holloway is coming up, and the one time we see him fight a lightweight was against Dustin Poirier in an all-time great fight, and he struggled with the power. I could see that happening again, but Justin Gaethje, he hits even harder. And we have the more patient Gaethje, but I think the wild Gaethje can come out. If he senses blood and he hurts Max Holloway, I could see the wild Gaethje coming out because you don't have to worry as much about submissions, and you don't really have to worry as much about Max Holloway's power. I think Max Holloway could pull on a technical striking clinic. Justin Gaethje tends to block punches with his face. He has that Pat and Gaethje high guard, which will open up the body shots. And Max Holloway loves ripping to the body, throwing spinning hook kicks to the body. This can be a very, very violent fight. Max Holloway could run away with a lot of it in the striking exchanges. But he's gonna struggle with the power. He's put on more weight this time than he did against Dustin Poirier, but he's still gonna struggle with the power. People will also want to delude themselves into thinking he has one punch KO power. Max Holloway, I just can't really see him one punch KOing Justin Gaethje because he KO'd the Korean Zombie, yeah, and then he unloaded clinic on Yair and Kattar, who didn't get knocked out. But then we saw Yair Rodriguez got knocked out by Volkanovski. So I stand by it. Holloway's power's not there, and he's not the crazy volume machine he was against the Kattar fight. He's really, really slowed down in a couple of his fights. I thought he slowed down a little bit in the Yair Rodriguez fight, and Yair was clipping with some shots to the point where Max Holloway resorted to wrestling. You're not taking down Justin Gaethje, especially a Max Holloway coming up in weight class. Arnold Allen, he didn't look amazing. He beat Arnold Allen, and that was really impressive. In fact, he beat the surging up-and-comer like that. But he didn't look that amazing. And in TKZ, he was getting caught. He's getting caught by the Korean Zombie. He really was. Justin Gaethje, I mean, we saw him get to, Dustin Poirier got a few better shots on him. But other than that, in his last wins, he's looked great. He got knocked, rocked really bad by Charles Oliveira. But Oliveira has tons of power and really good striking. I don't see Max Holloway tagging Justin Gaethje like that. Maybe there's a few scares in there where he gets hurt a little bit, but I definitely see Justin Gaethje putting on him. Maybe Gaethje is the first person to put out Max Holloway, because that's the thing. Max Holloway, he has been hit the most in the UFC. He has taken the most hits in UFC, and he's the only fighter to never been dropped, never been knocked out. Only fighter to have that same thing as well too is Chito Vera. I'm gonna be going with Justin Gaethje. I'm not saying I like the odds, I want to bet on it, but I see him as a good parlay piece. Minus 180. Oh, minus 180. Oh, whoa. He's been betted down. I like Gaethje as a straight bet. I like him as a straight bet and a parlay piece. He's solid. Justin Gaethje is a very good fighter, and the patient Gaethje, I think, has what it's needed to beat Max Holloway. But this is a very intriguing and very, very fun stylistic matchup. This is by far got to be the best fight in the card, and I like Gaethje to get it done. I liked what Gaethje said about Dr. Stoppage, because I don't know if he's going to knock him out, but he might damage him to a point where the doctors say, yo, Holloway, you can't go out there anymore. So that's a possibility. Give me Justin Gaethje by TKO. That's brazen. I think he's going to be the first person to knock out Max Holloway. No, give me decision. Let's be smarter about it. Give me Justin Gaethje by decision. All right. And now on to the next title fight on the card. Zhang Weili is going to be taking on Yan Xiaonan in the strawweight title fight, the first Chinese versus Chinese competitor. That's a very, very interesting. Probably should have had that for like a UFC China card, to be honest with you, but oh well. This is probably the best women's fight you could put on there, to be honest with you. I said in my prediction video, I wanted Zhang Weili to defend her belt at 300. They need to put women's fight on here, apparently. And the only one I'm really interested in seeing is Zhang Weili. I'm very critical about my women's MMA, but Zhang Weili, good. And Yan Xiaonan, while she's a decision machine, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. She's a goddamn decision machine. She is coming off that really insane knockout over Jessica Andrade. I am surprised. She just clipped her with one shot. But yes, strawweight title fight. Zhang Weili is going to be 34 years of age, 24 wins, 3 losses, 11 knockouts, 8 submissions, 5'4" in terms of height. Switch stance, 63-inch reach. On the dot, they're going to both have the same reach. A 2.29 takedown average, a 59.28% significant strike accuracy, minus 425 favorite. God damn. Probably the second biggest favorite in the card. Third. I forgot about the Bo Nickel fight. Significant wins over Amanda Lemos, Carla Esparza, Joanna Jędrzejczyk twice, and Jessica Andrade. She is going up against Yan Xiaonan, who is 32 years of age. 17 wins, 3 losses, 8 knockouts. Not a damn submission to her name. Wow. 5'5" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 63-inch reach, both squared up on reach. A 0.89 takedown average, a 49.95% significant strike accuracy, plus 315 underdog. Significant wins over Jessica Andrade and Mackenzie Dern. Yan Xiaonan is essentially a point fighter. She fights kind of like she's sparring most of the time. How she knocked out Andrade, I'll never know, but that was a perfectly placed shot that took her out. But for the most part, Yan Xiaonan, she really fights like she's sparring. Zhang Weili fights really to finish. The only time we've seen her really reserved in a fight was in the second fight against Doug Rose, which she ended up losing that fight, and I feel that's due to her timidity. Otherwise, Zhang Weili comes out like a bat out of hell. She's furious. She does same side combinations. She just runs at you, throws shots, but she's also very technical and very skilled and very good in the grappling aspect. Yan Xiaonan, the only thing I really has going for her, she's really good at distance fighting. She could absolutely pick apart Zhang Weili from a distance, but if it goes to the ground, I heavily favor Zhang Weili. If it's standing, I heavily favor Zhang Weili as well too. I think she's got the power, and I think she's got the more dynamic strikes overall. I think the odds might be a little bit worried, but I definitely think Zhang Weili is a big favorite, and I like her as a favorite in the spot. I just really don't see many avenues that Yan Xiaonan could really penetrate Zhang Weili and really put inflict some serious damage on her. I don't think her distance striking is going to be able to hurt Zhang Weili. I don't think she could be able to knock her out like someone like if Thug Rose did. So give me Zhang Weili to win this fight. Don't want to say decision. I wanted to say decision, but the fact that it's a 5-round fight, I think Zhang Weili can get it done, and I think she can get it done with a submission. I could see clubbing her, subbing her, maybe getting a rear naked choke, to be perfectly honest with you. She's been submitted once before. Ooh, yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking the submission for Zhang Weili. First submission I predicted on the card. And now going on to the main event of the evening. Another solid fight that I actually do like. Guys top of their division. Guys on Yeah, win streak. No, yeah, win streak. I forgot about the Jan Blachowicz fight. But yes, guys coming on a win streak. This is top division stuff. And this is, in my opinion, I thought this is worthy of being the headliner for UFC 300. Alex Pereira defending his title against Jamahal Hill. The light heavyweight division has been a staple in the UFC for years. They used to be their premier division until lightweight took over by storm. So this is paying homage to that, which is something I really like. I do think, though, this would work better as a headliner if we just had some better fights to underneath it. Like, if we had what the UFC wanted, because they wanted Tom Aspinall versus Stipe Miocic and Israel Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis, or Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. You had 2 of those 3 fights put down the main card, so that you have a 5-fight main card of title fights. I think this then would have truly been the best card of all time. Regardless, this is a great main event. Alex Pereira, the light heavyweight champion, he's going to be 36 years of age. 9 wins, 2 losses, 7 knockouts, not a damn submission to his name. 6'4" terms height, orthodox stance, 79-inch reach. They're both squared up on reach. 0.19 takedown average, a 68.82% significant strike accuracy, minus 150 favorite. Significant wins over Jiří Procházka, Jan Blachowicz, Israel Adesanya, and Sean Strickland. I'm only counting the one fight because that Israel fight, because that was the only fight in MMA. Jamahal Hill, he is 32 years of age, 12 wins, 1 loss. That 1 loss is to Paul freaking Craig. Don't know how that happens. 7 knockouts, not a damn submission to his name. 6'4" in terms of height, southpaw stance, though I think he's a fake southpaw like Dustin. 79-inch reach, squared up. 0 takedowns. He has not attempted a single takedown. 56.79% significant strike accuracy, plus 125 underdog. Significant wins over Glover Teixeira, Thiago Santos, Johnny Walker, and Jimmy Crute. People are treating Alex Pereira like the god. I know the odds are close. I think they've actually gotten worse, actually. Is Alex Pereira minus 200? He should not be. Okay, they've gotten better, actually. Minus 130 to plus 110. Okay, there's some love coming on Jamahal Hill. But I've seen people treat Alex like the god. I've seen people like make videos like, does Jamahal Hill have a chance? Anyone who says that's stupid. Jamahal Hill actually absolutely has a chance here, and Jamahal Hill is a rightful #1 contender, and Jamahal Hill can knock out Alex Pereira. It's been done before, not just including the Israel Adesanya fight. He's been knocked out in kickboxing by lesser people than a former UFC champion, a former Jamahal Hill. I do think Alex Pereira has a lot of advantages in this fight, to be perfectly honest with you. The main advantages I think he has is the power. His power and his left hook are absolutely deadly. That's the only way he was able to really take out Jiří Procházka or Jan Blachowicz, was with that left hook, because to be honest with you, both those fights, they were working Alex Pereira in the grappling exchanges, and Jiří Procházka was working him in the striking exchange. In fact, Jan Blachowicz was catching him a lot. I've noticed a lot of holes in Alex Pereira's striking defense, which is so bizarre to me. It's more so because he really encourages people to come at him so he could counter them with that check left hook. He really wants that. But a guy like Jamahal Hill, I feel, can counter that, because Jamahal Hill fights really well at keeping you at distance and coming in at controlled bursts. I've seen him get caught with a left hook by Glover a few times, which worries me. But I've also seen him just perform very well at just poking his opponent, loading up on shots, and he does a good job at switching stances. Even though he's a southpaw, like I said, I feel he's a fake southpaw. I feel he's more dominant with his right hand, to be honest with you, and his right hook is money. Ask Jimmy Crute. I could also see him landing a really good overhand right with a sticky 1-2. That is what knocked out Alex Pereira in his fight against Israel Adesanya, and that's also how Jamahal Hill knocked out Johnny Walker. So I see a lot of avenues for Jamahal Hill to win this. Alex Pereira's have some grappling issues. He never fought a good grappler, but I don't think Jamahal Hill is the person to test that. I definitely could see Alex Pereira just starching Jamahal Hill in probably a second round by catching him with 1 hook, because it just takes 1 hook. 1 hook and it's over. And the leg kicks are pretty solid as well, too, considering Jamahal Hill is coming off a leg injury. Yes, he's also coming off a layoff due to an injury. It just wasn't a fight. Alex Pereira's kicks are very nasty. and he does a good job of catching you on switch. If you switch stances, he will catch you with that kick, and those hurt. Jamahal Hill, that's his, those kicks and that hook are the main things he really needs to worry about. But if he can neutralize those, weapons by sticking in close and being ready of the hook, by sticking close in southpaw, that's the main thing. He can catch Alex Pereira, and he can land some good shots on him. Even though Alex Pereira is very good in the clinch, I actually like Jamahal Hill a little bit better in the clinch. In case you couldn't tell by what I'm saying, I'm actually leaning towards Jamahal Hill. The only problem is, again, coming off an injury. A year layoff with an injury is what I think Alex Pereira can use to just take out Jamahal Hill. Who's to say that injury that Jiri Prochazka had didn't play a major factor in his fight against Alex Pereira? I think there's just a little bit more advantages outside fighting that gives leans towards Alex Pereira. That injury, I just don't like it. And he has Glover Teixeira in his corner, who spent 25 minutes with Jamahal Hill and could give him a lot of pointers to his tendencies. The main things, though, that I truly like about Jamahal Hill and why I want to lean towards him is his game planning. People just don't pay attention, but this boy has good game planning. I like Jamahal in the spot. I would probably lean towards Alex Pereira just because of the injury. Am I going to bet on this fight? No, I don't like betting on this fight, to be honest with you. I think it's too close. There's too many X factors to make it a good bet in any way, shape, or form other than inside the distance. If the line for this fight to end inside the distance is good, which it won't be, then that is your best bet. That's my lock, but it's probably going to be like minus 400. If it's anywhere in the minus 100s, bet your whole paycheck a minus the fight ends inside the distance, because either Jamahal Hill is going to starch Alex Pereira with some good shots, I could see an overhand right, or Alex Pereira is going to land that left hook and just floor Jamahal Hill. I lean towards Jamahal Hill, though. Tentatively picking wise, probably go Pereira just because injury, but trust me, I have faith in Jamahal Hill, and I like him to win in this matchup. So, once again, this has been your boy Gomi. UFC 300 is upon us. It is so legendary for this. I have watched UFC 100, 200, and 300 live, and it's such a big and momentous occasion that I get to watch UFC 300 live. So weird. When those happened, when 100 was there, I was a child. UFC 200, I think I was in high school, maybe. I think I had to have been a teenager. Yeah. No, I was in college. Never mind. When UFC 200 came out, I was just becoming a man. Now UFC 300 is here, and I am a full-grown freaking adult. Jesus Christ. But it is a momentous occasion. UFC has meant so much to me in my life. I've watched it for so long. It is my favorite sport. I love the fighters. I love this, and I just think it's a great momentous occasion, even though the event is not as much as I want it to be. At the end of the day, I'm still just appreciative that we're getting some good fights, some good action. And at the very least, I do have a lot of my favorite fighters. Of my top 10 favorite fighters on here, we have 3 of them. Yes, 3 of my top 10 favorite fighters are fighting on this card. I love to see it. Who those are, by the way, Jiri Prochazka, Justin Gaethje, and Max Holloway. I have favorite fighters fighting each other, yes. So, once again, I would like to greatly thank each and every single one of you who watch, especially those of you who watch all the way to the end. I'm happy the channel's been growing at a steady pace. This is still just a kind of fun hobby project for me. I'm not trying to make a living off it. If I could in the future, it'd be great, but I need to be making good money from that. But at the end of the day, I don't give a damn about the money. I'm just happy to talk about UFC and have an outlet to talk about the sport that I love so much. So, once again, this has been your boy Gomi. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.